And welcome back. Okay, so we now need to give these some names. So selected that one. Well, let's have a look. It's plain one at the moment. We'll call it the exhaust guard and port, because it's on the port side. Say OK on that one. And now if we select line 6, we'll just call this exhaust, and it's on the port side. Say OK. Now we need to select both of them, so control, select that, and what I'm going to do is a straightforward mirror. So up to our mirror. On the X we want a copy. I'm going to say OK. And let's now just pull them across and we'll get them lined up. Zoom in a little bit. There we go, they're just going into the fuselage there, so pull back and that's fine. Well, let's now deselect them, and I'm going to select that, and we're going to give it, rename it, and we'll call that star for starboard. So OK, and select exhaust, port 01, again star for starboard. Deselect that. Well, we had a bit of a screen freeze there. Okay, I'd now like to introduce you to our schematic view. This is basically here to help us organize our geometry and our workflow. We have two settings. We're in hierarchy mode at the moment, and we also have reference mode. I'll just click reference mode, and it looks a bit like the layout of a family tree. Let's zoom back a little bit. Same controls for zooming in and out. Control Alt, middle mouse key to pan across. Control Alt, let's zoom in. Now you'll see things here which you're not familiar with. I have set things up prior as far as rigging is concerned. We'll give you a quick demonstration in a moment, but what we've got here that you're not familiar with is the CC fuselage and point controllers fuselage. You're familiar with the fuselage, and as you can see we've got fuselage, and connected to fuselage is the front wing. If we come across a little bit more, what else? We've got glass canopy, etc. I prefer to work in the hierarchy mode. Okay, so let's zoom out. We'll go more in depth to this. I just wanted to give you a quick intro to it. But here we can see the 4 pieces of geometry that we have just created. Now I could have come up into our schematic view and actually renamed them there, but this lets us organize our workflow and our geometry. Okay, well, we have things like connect or link. Here it's called connect, but I think the icon gives the game away for that one. What I want to do is actually link these pieces of geometry to our fuselage. Why link? Well, I don't want these attaching to the fuselage. I'm actually thinking ahead, and I may want to have these exhausts on both sides slightly animated. If you ever watch the exhaust on a car, you'll see it judder more than the car does. So I may want to incorporate that animation within our final piece of work. So for the time being, what I want is these items linked to the fuselage. Okay, so what I'm going to do is press the connect or the link tool. You'll see that we've got a new cursor now, what I'm going to do is select that one. We have a rubber band extending from it. I'm going to put it over fuselage, and now it's linked to the fuselage. Let me just do this with the others. There we are. And if we now press middle mouse key, pop down to the bottom, here I can see I've got exhaust, 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 all now linked to the fuselage. I could of course unlink them, so if I wanted to unlink, I'll just pop down, select that one first, and press unlink. It's unlinked it and put it back to the top. Okay, well I want it linked again, so select it over into fuselage. So it's an easy and effective way to organize your geometry. Well, let's close this down now. As I say, we'll come back to this. You will become very familiar with it, and you'll find out just how useful it really is. Let's close that down. Well, we're on to part 76, and basically all we've been doing is creating and modelling our geometry. Now, we haven't gone into much else because I wanted you to become familiar with working with 3ds Max. However, we are close to actually completing our modelling. We've got several other pieces to create, including the nose cone and the propellers, but then we've got to start thinking about rigging, and as I say, I thought it was about the right time to introduce you to the schematic view. So what's it all for? Well, when it comes to rigging, let me just unhide things. Now don't worry, because we are going to go through all of this. I'll show you how it's all created. Let's just unfreeze that and unfreeze this. Now you'll see that there's quite a few things which suddenly appeared, and this is all to do with our rig. Now we have here what's known as the CC fuselage. Now CC just stands for control curves, and this basically controls quite a bit. I'm going to click on that, and you'll see that we have things such as custom attributes, and in here we have our controllers, aileron port. Zoom back a little bit. So aileron port, that's this one over here, and if I just move that, you'll see the aileron is animated. The aileron starboard, that's over there, that's animated. We just rotate around a little bit more. We have our flaps. Now all these have restraints as well as to how far they can move up or down. The flap for the port, that's this one here. If we just move that one, we can see if we go to the extent there. So we have these controllers. Fuselage, I've got it down as a roll. It's set at 0, but if we click on the spinners there, as you can see, the airplane is now rolling to port and starboard. Let's 0 that. The rudder, again, we can have it going to the port, to starboard, and of course the elevator and the cockpit. Okay, so let's just zoom around a little bit. I want to zoom in, pull out. Now I do know that these are linked, but let's just have a quick look. So if we roll there, we can see. And of course what I would then do is set up a point controller for the exhaust, and it would be in here, and then we could start adding some expressions as well, which we will be doing for various parts of the aircraft. Okay, so that's just a very quick preview of the rigging. As I say, we will go through every aspect of creating our rig. Then of course we have quite a few sessions in applying our materials to the model. So quite a bit to go, quite a bit to get through. When it comes to modeling, enjoy it, because patience is a virtue and good working practices are a must. Well, in the next session we'll look at creating our air intake on this section here, so just down there. Well, we'll call that it for this session, and I'll catch you later.